Welcome to the Emerge podcast, where Ronnie Doss shares insights regarding life, leadership, and personal development. For more of our resources, visit ronniedoss.com. Now, let's join the podcast.
Hey there, it's Ronnie Doss. Welcome to the Emerge podcast. Today, we are going to talk about focus. And the reason we want to talk about focus is because there's more noise, more distractions. There's more things out there right now that are eliciting fear in us, in our hearts and in our minds. And really, if we allow it, it cripples us. You know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And where we put our focus, it seems that over time, what we focus on really becomes our master. And so if we're focusing on money, right? Money then masters us. If that's all we care about, right? If we're focused on our relationship, then that relationship masters us. If it's all we focus on, that thing begins to overpower us. And so we want to learn to put our focus on things that are going to serve us. You know, right now, there is an opportunity for us to choose that we're going to be the light in a really dark world. There are so many things happening right now that we could look at and focus on and see it's really dark. It seems to be very negative. But I know that we have an option here to lean in, be on the offensive, and really take new territory and move ourself, our ideas, our consciousness, and the spirit, really, of the people on this planet. I believe we can raise it and move it forward towards something better. And so today, let's talk about focus. I think it's a great phrase to write down. I've said this many times before, but emotion follows focus, and focus is always a choice. And so if I'm feeling fearful, those emotions, which are chemicals that get fired off in my brain based on the pictures that I choose to hold, whether that's externally or closing my eyes and holding a picture internally, those pictures provoke certain chemicals, and those chemicals are what we call emotions. And so if we're not very careful, these chemicals that we are creating based on what we focused on start to be our reality. You know, there's an old quote that says, seeing is believing, but that quote came from a longer quote that says, seeing is believing and feeling is reality. So when you see something, it's form, it's on the external. But the moment you have an emotion to attach to it or lock onto it, then that thing becomes reality. And right now, the reality for many people is that they're afraid, they're anxious, they're worried, and they're dealing with more what we would say is outside adversity or challenges or setbacks than many people have faced in a good while. I mean, it's been more than a decade that our economy has seemed to be strong, unemployment was low, and now we've had a shift in the economy, we've had a shift in people's perspective on what's happening right now and what's possible for them, and, you know, it's caused people to be rattled a bit. And so today, I just want to give you a few things on focus that I know can help you to remain in your lane, focused on your lane, and moving you towards where it is that you want to go. Now, first things first, what you focus on then becomes a hierarchy in your mind. When you focus on something, see, you can see lots of different things, right? There's a lot of things going on around you. But the moment you focus on something, what you are saying in that moment is that this is more important than everything else. This is more important than everything else. And so if I'm focused on you, right, I am saying in that moment that you are the most important thing, because if I'm focused on you, then you're important. I'm giving myself to you in that moment. They say the greatest gift you can ever give someone else is your undivided attention, meaning you are focused on them and what it is that they have to say. And so when we focus on something, it creates hierarchy. And what we're saying is this is more important than something else. And so things start to move down the ladder of priority based on what it is that we choose to focus on. And so right now, if I'm choosing to focus on all the bad things, and all the worry and all the exaggerations that come from the media many times, right? All the sensationalism that happens. I'm not saying there's not a lot of truth in what the media says, but there's a lot of things that we could say are untruths that are oftentimes over-exaggerated. Like, you know, the hurricane's going to be a Category 12, right? And everybody watches, and well, when it hit land, it was Category 2, right? Those things happen a lot. And I wonder sometimes if they're not reporting the worst-case scenario to keep people watching and keeping them engaged because, what? Fear sells. You know, it's the quote, I believe, in media. It says, if it bleeds, it leads. And so if there's something that could be very fearful, right, something that seemed to be horrific or tragic, that leads. And it gets people's attention. And so we give our attention to things that seem to be fearful. And when that happens, all the other things start to lower themselves on this in this hierarchy, on the ladder of priority. And so my question for you today would be, what are you focused on? And why is that so important to you? And you say, well, Ronnie, I might be losing my job, or Ronnie, I might be taking a hit in income. Why are you focusing on that? Do you think that by focusing on it, it's going to change whether that outcome is going to happen or not? Because if you think about it, it's probably not going to change anything if you're focused on worrying. Like they say, worry is like sitting in a rocking chair. You just go back and forth, but you don't make any progress, right? You can sit there all day worrying. Is it really helping you? So if you realize that it's not, if you're really honest, now I'm not saying it's not a natural tendency to worry, but if you notice that that's what you're focusing on, you want to ask yourself, like, what's the benefit? What am I getting out of worrying? Well, you think that you're going to avoid something that might happen to you. And at the end of the day, if you get really honest with yourself and say, hey, whether I worry about it or not, it's probably not going to change the outcome. Then what you would want to do is find something to focus on that could contribute to you doing better, feeling better, and producing a better result, regardless of what the circumstances may be. You see, you can only control the controllables. You can't control things on the outside of you. And so what we put our focus on is what we're really trying to control. And you can't control the outside circumstances many times, especially when things are going on like right now. But what you can focus on and what you can change is what's going on within you. This is the power of focus, right? And so this is where when we would say, hey, I want to focus on something that could be good, something that could come out of this, something that I can be grateful for. I want to focus on the things that I do have, not what I don't have. Because there's nothing really missing in this moment right now, right? Because we're here. There's nothing missing. Everything that you need in this moment is right here if you're listening to this. And so when we stand in the present moment and get our focus onto things that cause us to feel better, we're focused on our family. We're focused on our health. We're focused on the things that we do have that can contribute to better in the future. So that we're not focusing on fear. It weighs us down right now. And what happens is that fear that we focus on that weighs us down makes it harder for us to feel better in the future. You see, we're throwing a weight on our future selves back, and that's the person that we definitely don't envy. If we're not doing what we need to do right now to contribute to a better future, then we're making the future harder on ourselves, and we're going to step into the future. This is the thing that we have to remember. We are going to step into the future. We will get through what we are moving through right now. But if we want our future to be better, it's going to be determined by what we focus on right now and what we do with the feelings that come from our focus. Right? So emotion follows focus, and focus is always a choice. And so my question for you today is, what are you going to focus on moving forward? The moment you hear something that could cause you to want to be fearful, can you shift it from that moment and saying, hey, if this is focusing on fear, this is awfulizing, this is creating a worst case scenario, what can I focus on right now that's more hopeful? What can I focus on right now that's going to produce some better chemicals, some better emotion in me? What can I focus on? And as you train your brain and practice that, it becomes more of what's a new normal for you. And this is how you can deal with a lot of challenges and a lot of adversity, but you can keep your poise, right? Keeping your poise. I think it was John Wooden that said poise is when you can keep your mind about you when everybody else is losing theirs and blaming you for it. Right? And so what we focus on helps us to keep poise. And so, yes, there's a lot of negativity out there. Yes, there's a lot of things that could provoke a lot of fear in us. But moving forward today, if we notice we're feeling fear, we're going to ask ourselves, what am I focusing on right now in this moment? And am I willing to shift? And if you're willing to shift, then you shift from where it is that you're focused to a new focus that's going to produce some better chemicals, a better state of being, a better reality for you in the moment. And from there, I believe you can move forward and produce better results. You deserve that. So we don't want to get to the end of the race and have caused ourselves a lot of despair along the way. We want to finish. We want to finish strong, but we want to make sure that along the way, we're taking care of ourselves, our mind, our heart, our peace. Sometimes you have to fight battles to find peace. So let's fight the battle against this natural programming to think negatively. Let's fight that battle, confront it, and say, hey, I'm going to make a shift today. If you'll do that, things will go better for you. This is Ronnie Doss. I hope you enjoyed this today and got something out of it. It's a great reminder for me. I like listening to good things like this. And so if you enjoyed this, please share this with someone that you know. You never know where someone's at, what they might be dealing with. If you want to support what it is that we do, you can go to ronniedoss.com. We've got all the video resources there, and we got some new ones we're about to roll out. I'll tell you about that later. But I appreciate who you are. I appreciate you being on this journey. Know that we're going to get through this together. You are blessed. This is Ronnie Doss. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.